Module 3, Public Budgeting and Finance. Public finance and budgeting are essential pillars of effective governance, forming the backbone of governmental operations and shaping societal welfare. This presentation highlights their significance, particularly in the context of the education sector. Public finance serves as the lifeblood of government operations, enabling the provision of public goods and services. It is pivotal in shaping the economic policies and development initiatives driving progress and stability within societies. Budgeting within the realm of public finance serves as a mechanism for efficient resource allocation. By setting priorities and targets for government spending, budgeting ensures that resources are utilized effectively. Budgeting upholds principles of accountability and transparency in financial management, fostering trust within communities. Public finance and budgeting in the educational sector are mechanisms that determine funding allocations for schools, universities, and educational programs, directly impacting educational quality, access, and equity. Understanding their role in education is highly important for shaping the future of our communities. Public finance and budgeting are fundamental for governance effectiveness and societal progress. Their application in the education sector holds significant implications for the development and well-being of our communities. In 1993, Alan Auerbach made foundational contributions to public finance theory, offering insights into the dynamics of taxation, government spending, and economic stability. Today, we explore these insights and their implications for contemporary public policy. Auerbach highlighted taxation as a vital tool for both fiscal management and economic strategy. He argued that taxes serve two critical functions: mobilizing resources for government activities and redistributing income to achieve a more equitable society. Through careful design and implementation, taxation can finance essential public services while minimizing its disincentive effects on work and investment. Another cornerstone of Auerbach's work is the emphasis on the role of government spending in economic stabilization. Auerbach highlighted how strategic government expenditures, particularly in infrastructure, social programs, and public goods, can stimulate aggregate demand. This, in turn, fosters economic growth, especially during periods of economic turndown or stagnation, by injecting much-needed capital into the economy. Central to his theory is the advocacy for prudent fiscal policies aimed at long-term economic sustainability. He argued for the importance of balanced budgets, efficient resource allocation, and strategic investments to achieve fiscal equilibrium. These practices ensure that government actions today do not compromise economic stability and growth prospects for future generations. Auerbach's pioneering research highlights the complex relationship between taxation, government spending, and economic stability. His theories provide a robust framework for understanding how effective public finance management can promote sustainable development and enhance societal welfare. For policymakers and scholars, grasping these concepts is essential for formulating strategies that leverage fiscal tools for the greater good. His contributions to public finance theory provide valuable lessons for managing the economy through thoughtful taxation and spending policies. As we face new economic challenges, his work remains a guiding light that can help us develop policies that balance growth, equity, and fiscal responsibility. In order to achieve excellence in educational leadership, it is crucial to develop transparent and accountable budgets. Byrd's framework, established in 2001, revolutionizes how educational leaders approach budget development, emphasizing the necessity of clarity, accuracy, and stakeholder involvement. Today, we will explore Byrd's methodology and its importance in promoting trust and efficiency in educational finance. At the heart of Byrd's framework is a structured approach that champions transparency and accountability through the budgeting process. This method insists on thorough documentation of financial decisions, active engagement of all stakeholders, and a rigorous performance evaluation of budgetary allocations. By adhering to these principles, educational leaders can construct budgets that are not only precise, but also reflective of the collective aspirations and needs of the educational community. The value of transparency in budgeting cannot be overstated. Transparent budgets build a foundation of trust and confidence among all stakeholders, students, parents, educators, and policymakers. When stakeholders have clear insights into how resources are allocated and understand the rationale behind financial priorities, it empowers them to actively participate in the educational process. Transparency demystifies the budgeting process, making it accessible and understandable to everyone involved. Bird's framework places a strong emphasis on accountability through the implementation of performance metrics and meticulous expenditure tracking. Accountability measures ensure that every dollar spent is accounted for and aligned with the educational institution's goals and objectives. By establishing clear responsibilities and oversight mechanisms, Bird's framework ensures that educational budgets are not just plans on paper, but are translated into tangible outcomes that enhance teaching and learning environments. Bird's comprehensive framework also offers pivotal roadmap for educational leaders aiming to develop budgets that are both transparent and accountable. By embracing the principles laid out in Bird's methodology, educational institutions can ensure that their financial governance not only supports fiscal responsibility, but also advances the principles of equity, excellence, and success for every student. The adoption of Bird's framework in educational budgeting processes marks a significant step toward achieving fiscal governance that is transparent, accountable, and aligned with the educational aspirations of our communities. It's a call to action for educational leaders to foster environments where fiscal clarity and stakeholder involvement are not just encouraged, but are foundational to the success and advancement of educational institutions. To navigate the constantly evolving landscape of public administration, it is essential to understand the past and future trajectories of public budgeting and finance. Posner's 2007 study offers an unparalleled window into these transformations over the past 70 years, revealing a journey of continuous reform and adaptation. Today, we explore the pivotal shifts highlighted by Posner and their significant implications for public administration and governance. Posner meticulously documents the shift from traditional line item budgets to more sophisticated performance-based and outcome-focused approaches in public budgeting and finance. This transformation reflects the dynamic nature of public budgeting practices and the necessity for reform and adaptation in response to changing societal needs, economic conditions, and technological advancements. The changes in public budgeting and finance bear significant implications for public administration. The move towards results-oriented management, the push for interagency collaboration, and the growing emphasis on citizen engagement demand a public administration that is flexible, innovative, and responsive. Modern governance requires flexible management practices departing from rigid bureaucracy. Posner's lens provides insight into a new era of governance characterized by increased accountability, transparency, and citizen participation. This evolution requires adaptive leadership that embraces evidence-based policymaking and is committed to continuous improvement in budgetary practices. These governance models prioritize efficient resource use while fostering inclusivity in decision-making and public service. Posner's research not only documents the ongoing transformation of public budgeting and finance, but also emphasizes the importance of adaptive governance in a constantly changing and complex world. To successfully navigate this complexity, it is important to embrace innovative ideas, encourage reform, and uphold the principles of efficiency, effectiveness, and responsiveness in public administration. His study highlights the need for dynamic and adaptable public administration that serves societal contexts. The use of performance data in educational management has become increasingly important in driving accountability and promoting continuous improvement in schools. Prue and Quigren's research in 2010 sheds light on how leveraging this data can lead to positive change, particularly in Ghana's education system. Their study provides insights into the mechanisms and implications of using performance data in educational settings. Prue and Quigren's research highlights how important performance data is in creating accountability within schools. This data includes academic achievement, graduation rates, and other quality indicators, which give stakeholders the necessary tools to evaluate school effectiveness. These evaluations can help ensure that schools remain committed to delivering high-quality education and promoting student success. With timely interventions, schools can address any issues that may arise, allowing them to continually improve and provide the best possible education for their students. Beyond accountability, performance data emerges as an invaluable resource for driving systemic improvement. By offering a clear snapshot of current performance levels, identifying strengths, and pinpointing areas needing enhancement, this data lays the groundwork for informed decision-making. Educators are therefore empowered to tailor interventions, refine teaching methodologies, and optimize curriculum designs to better meet the needs of their students, ultimately elevating the educational experience. The use of performance data in Ghana's education system, examined by Prue and Quagren, presents a compelling case study of its practical implications. Ghana's experience demonstrates the transformative potential of data-driven decision-making in educational management and policy development. This case study emphasizes the key elements of success: establishing the necessary capacity for data analysis, promoting robust stakeholder engagement, and ensuring that interventions are based on solid evidence. The research conducted by Prue and Quagren highlights the immense potential of performance data in transforming educational management. By promoting a culture of accountability and ongoing improvement, performance data serves as a guide for educators and policymakers. The lessons learned from this study provide a roadmap for utilizing data to create educational environments that are not only fair and responsive, but also supportive of high student achievement. The use of performance data in educational settings is becoming more strategic and is leading to a new era of accountability and improvement. The Ghana case study has demonstrated that adopting a data-driven approach to educational management can often open unprecedented opportunities for improving student outcomes and overall school effectiveness. For educators, policymakers, and stakeholders who are committed to raising educational standards, the first step is to commit to harnessing the transformative power of performance data. With this slide, we will be exploring the important research carried out by Sosina and Weathers in 2019. Their study sheds light on the complex relationship between district segregation and racial inequalities in school funding. The research highlights the challenges that arise from these disparities and emphasizes the urgent need for equitable resource allocation in our education systems. Sosina and Weathers' analysis highlights a crucial issue. Segregation still exerts a significant influence on the educational system. The research shows that school districts that are segregated often suffer from funding disparities resulting in inferior teacher quality, limited access to educational resources, and subpar educational opportunities. This creates a vicious cycle of inequity that disproportionately affects students from marginalized communities. Funding disparities in education have far-reaching consequences affecting every aspect of educational delivery. School districts that are underfunded face significant challenges in securing qualified teachers, procuring necessary instructional materials, and offering enriching extracurricular activities. This imbalance not only diminishes the quality of education, but also compromises the future prospects of countless students, particularly those from historically underserved communities. The findings of Sosina and Weathers serve as a call for a concerted action to rectify funding inequities. The path forward demands a multifaceted approach, encompassing the implementation of equitable funding formulas, targeted investments in schools with the greatest needs, and initiatives aimed at fostering socioeconomic integrations. Such measures are vital for ensuring educational equity and ensuring that every student has the opportunity to succeed. The research conducted by Sosina and Weathers brings attention to the crucial issue of between-district segregation and its impact on school funding and educational outcomes. It emphasizes the urgent need for policies that target the underlying causes of funding disparities, leading the way for a fairer and more inclusive education system. As stakeholders in education, it is our responsibility to use this information to advocate for systemic changes that benefit every student regardless of their race or socioeconomic status. The study conducted by Sosina and Weathers offers valuable insights into the intricate connection between segregation and educational equity. In our ongoing quest for educational equity, we encounter various systemic barriers that undermine our efforts to ensure every student has access to the resources they need. Today, we explore the challenges hindering equitable funding in education, drawing on insights from Module 3's comprehensive literature. Our discussion will not only highlight these barriers, but also illuminate potential pathways to overcoming them through innovative solutions and best practices. First, let's highlight the core challenges that stand in the way of equitable education funding. 1. Inadequate funding. A foundational issue, the sheer lack of sufficient resources in many education systems cripples their ability to cater to the diverse needs of students. 2. Funding formulas. The complexity and inherent biases within funding formulas often perpetuate disparities, unjustly benefiting affluent districts at the expense of those in dire need. 3. Political priorities. The influence of political agendas on funding decisions can skew resource distribution, sidelining equity in favor of other interests. 4. Fiscal constraints. Economic fluctuations and budgetary limitations pose significant threats, often resulting in the reduction or elimination of critical educational programs and services. Addressing these challenges requires thoughtful consideration of evidence-based strategies and best practices. Key insights include 1. Equity-centered funding models. Shifting toward funding models that genuinely prioritize students' needs, ensuring resources are allocated where they are most needed. 2. Transparent budgeting practices. The adoption of budgeting practices characterized by transparency can enhance accountability and foster greater community involvement in decision-making processes. 3. Advocacy and community mobilization. Encouraging community empowerment through advocacy and mobilization efforts can drive the push for policies that support equitable funding. 4. Targeted interventions. Implementing specific targeted interventions such as compensatory funding for schools and districts facing the greatest challenges can help rectify entrenched inequities. The path to achieving equitable funding in education is lined with obstacles. It demands a collective effort involving policymakers, educators, communities, and all relevant stakeholders. By embracing evidence-based solutions and best practices, we can create equitable education systems that offer all students the resources, support, and opportunities they need to succeed. While the journey toward equitable education funding is complex and challenging, it is also filled with the potential for transformative change. By confronting these challenges head-on and leveraging insights from the literature, we can dismantle barriers to equity and build on a more just and inclusive educational landscape for future generations. Looking ahead to the future of public finance and budgeting, it is clear that certain emerging trends have the power to significantly impact the way we fund and manage education. This slide will explore 3 key trends and their potential implications for the education sector. Digital transformation and financial technology, also known as fintech, is the integration of digital technologies and fintech solutions in financial transactions and budget management. Educational institutions can leverage these innovations to manage education finances more efficiently and responsibly, streamline budgeting processes, enhance transparency, and optimize resource allocation. The adoption of such advancements promises to usher in a new era of efficiency and accountability in educational finance. There is a growing trend toward outcome-based budgeting, which indicates a departure from traditional approaches. This new approach puts more emphasis on accountability, results, and return on investment. By adopting performance metrics and evidence-based decision-making, educational systems can ensure that resources are used efficiently while working toward continuous improvement in educational outcomes. This shift toward outcome-based approaches will lead to a future where every dollar invested is maximized for the benefit of students and society. Equity-centered funding models are currently a pressing need in the field of education finance. It is widely recognized that there are significant disparities in educational resources and opportunities, and targeted interventions are required to address these gaps. Strategies such as weighted funding formulas, targeting interventions, and socioeconomic integration are being implemented in order to promote equity. By prioritizing equity in resource allocation, education systems can better support marginalized students and create a more inclusive learning environment. As we navigate the landscape of public finance and budgeting, it's crucial to acknowledge the potential that emerging trends in education funding and management can bring. By embracing digital transformation, outcome-based budgeting, and equity-centered funding models, education systems can pave the way to greater efficiency, accountability, and equity. These trends present not just challenges, but also opportunities to create a brighter future for education, one where every student has access to the resources and support they need to succeed. In conclusion, the intersection of digital transformation, outcome-based budgeting, and equity-centered funding models marks the beginning of a new era in education finance.